everybody. My name is Megalosaurus, and this is Dinosaurs, the show where everything. What does anything mean anymore? I can't believe this is happening. Okay, so just bombshell after bombshell is being unleashed upon the world of Magic today. I don't even know where to start. I'll just go back a little. Nadu, shit card, shouldn't have been printed. They literally didn't playtest its final version, went to print anyway, and now it's out. And just so we're clear, this one goes out to all the Wizards of the Coast executives and all the Hasbro executives that want to print 800 sets a year. Fuck you! We literally wouldn't have had this Nadu problem if they didn't want to print a set every month. Okay, perfect example. I've literally looked at all the freaking. I'll put numbers somewhere on screen of the distance between all the sets this year. It's stupid. And furthermore, I wanted more time in Bloomborough, thank you. I wanted my cute animals and my cute forest and all that and I wanted it for a long time. I didn't want to go to horror, everything, crazy, scary thing in the span of not even 2 months. I didn't even get to draft Bloomborough. I barely got done with my Zoraline deck before duskmourn showed up. Anyway, rant over. That Nadu sucks. But it's banned in Commander now! Hooray! No one could have seen this coming whatsoever. Except for anyone who's ever played Magic. So, literally, they said it was a mistake. And then it got banned in Modern. And, well, it was at the same time. They said it was a mistake, and so it got banned in Modern. And then people were like, are they gonna ban it in Commander? Who knows? But then, I mean, it's literally not supposed to be printed. So yes, they banned Nadu in Commander. But Nadu getting banned, unsurprisingly, is not the craziest thing that happened today, because they've also banned Dockside Extortionist, Crypt, and Jeweled Lotus. 3 arguably not necessarily staples, but definitely not the casual play, but huge heavy hitters, super fast mana in the format, and they're just wiped. They're gone. It's just they weren't scorched earth. They purged the format. It's crazy. It's granted, huge disclaimer, massive disclaimer here. None of these cards were in any of my decks. I am a broke ass bitch, so I didn't have to worry about any of this. But I know people who play these cards. I've seen these cards. Every time I watch Commander gameplay on YouTube, these cards come up. So, what does this mean? What does the format even look like now? Am I crazy? Okay, Jeweled Lotus got printed in Commander Masters. It's the chase card in that set, and you better hope you don't pull it now. So, that's crazy. Frickin' Dockside was in a precon, but now the precon is not playable as is, I guess? And then, Nadu, obviously, fuck Nadu. It needed to be banned. It was a mistake, yada yada. But then, Crypt, I feel I feel like this turned CEDH on its head. Okay, granted though, another giant disclaimer. I don't play CEDH, but I, again, watch CEDH on YouTube occasionally and listen to podcasts about it. Play to Win podcast, those guys are really cool. Even though I don't play CEDH, their podcast is really fun, so I like listening to it. But there's an entire sort of strategy around Dockside in CEDH that's you play your Dockside, you make a crap ton of treasures, you go off and usually have some kind of win in that scenario, but then there's all the clones that you run to copy someone who may have already gotten a Dockside out, or to copy yours so you can get more Dockside triggers, and then you make just millions of treasures, and then just explode and win and do all this crazy stuff. You can't do that now. What? Like, okay, again, it's just, I'm so interested to see what this means, where this is going, who, like, does CEDH break off and finally become, like, its own separate format? Do they have their own rules committee? Like, or do they just keep going with this? I feel like they're pretty cool with everything so far on the ban list, and nobody's really worried. And maybe this is just the case, and maybe I'm just going crazy. But like, these cards are huge. These are like big, expensive, exploding cards in the format. But okay, so I should get to the reason why these cards got banned. They wrote as much in the Wizards of the Coast article. That wasn't directly by Wizards. It was the Commander Rules Committee who had sort of given reasons as to why these cards are banned. So I'm going to talk about those real quick. Oh, also, before I forget, so I'm going to go down the article. There are some announcements and things, and I just want to, say those as well. Get everything just verbatim of what's been said. So, reading through the article, before we dive into these announcements, we want to highlight an important event on September 28th and 29th. The Rules Committee and Community of Cardboard will be hosting the second annual Sheldon Memory Charity Stream. After Sheldon's passing in 2023, this same team gathered Sheldon's friends and colleagues to raise over $50,000 for cancer research, which is fucking awesome, might I add. We will be starting at 8 a.m. Eastern and running until midnight each day with games, memories, and prizes for you too. We hope you'll join us in honoring our dear friend Sheldon. There are some amazing things being donated to help raise money, including some items from Sheldon's personal collection. Tune in to twitch.tv/CommanderRC to enjoy a weekend of great Commander games and support a great cause. On to today's announcement. Okay, and then I'll put that link on screen. Please go to that. That sounds awesome. Raise money for charity, cancer research, hell yeah. They go on to say, the philosophy of Commander prioritizes creativity, and one of the ways we have historically reflected that in the rules and ban list is to encourage a slower pace of game than traditional formats. This gives decks time and space to develop and do different things. We have a goal to make it easier for players who enjoy slower, more social games to have an environment for them to explore. Commander has always had the potential for someone to get out to a fast start and be the first arch-villain in the game, but that advantage has been balanced by having multiple players gunning for them once it happens. In the past 2 years, notably since Strixhaven School of Mages, I'm curious to see if there's a card they're talking about there, or a specific, maybe a couple cards or something. I'd have to figure out why Strixhaven specifically is where they started. But yeah, notably since Strixhaven School of Mages, we have seen a pattern of stronger mid-game cards that allow the player who skips past the early game to snowball their advantage straight through to the win. Occasional games like that are fine, but it shouldn't be common, and we're taking steps to bring that frequency down a bit by banning 3 of the most explosive plays in the format. Mana Crypt. Coming down for no mana on turn 1, it's quite possible to have the explosive start of Mana Crypt into a Signet or Talisman, land, and another Signet, leaving that player untapping 5 mana on turn 2. In games going over 12 turns, the accumulated threat of damage from Mana Crypt provides a reasonable counterbalance for its explosive effect. But when you are snowballing to a turn 6 to 8 win, it's a meaningless drawback. Okay, so Jeweled Lotus, another card that can give you 5 mana on turn 2. Jeweled Lotus does it without even needing a good hand, though you're restricted in what you can do with the mana. 4 and 5 mana commanders can pack a significant punch nowadays, often drawing cards to make up for the one-shot mana, and defensive abilities such as Ward can't be interacted with that early in the game. Dockside Extortionist. Dockside isn't normally quite as explosive in the early game as the other 2 cards, but it can still go mana positive on turn 2 and start generating substantial treasures after that. It's been on the border for years, and we've shied away from acting in the past because the card has scaled well with the power level of the table, but it's a frequent contributor to the more egregious snowball starts. This part is important. I see a lot of people talking about this, and once I read through this, I just want to clarify what I think is happening and where they're coming from. We should also talk about the elephant in the room. We're not banning Sol Ring, and have no desire to. Sol Ring is not getting banned. It will free up a slot in everyone's deck, but it's not getting banned. And I'm totally okay with that, honestly. We're not banning Sol Ring and have no desire to. Yes, based on the criteria we've talked about here, it would be banned. Sol Ring is the iconic card of the format, and it's sufficiently tied to the identity of the format that it defies the laws of physics in a way that no other card does. Banning Sol Ring would be fundamentally changing the identity of the format. We aren't trying to eliminate all explosive starts. It happening every once in a while is exciting, and removing the other 3 cards geometrically reduces the number of hands capable of substantial above curve mana generation in the first few turns. So, Sol Ring is okay. I think really it's just because it's so widely available. It's not nearly as expensive as Mana Crypt. It costs 1 mana. Granted, it's crazy mana. You get a huge value for Sol Ring, but people, it's sort of saying, it seems like they're saying every now and again an explosive start is fine, but to the frequency that we're getting them with these other cards, not super great. So, Sol Ring, okay. Other cards, no. And again, it's very likely also a huge contributor that Sol Ring is in every precon. It's very inexpensive. It's widely available. So, it doesn't make as much sense to ban Sol Ring, I think, because I get, you know, every now and again, casual commander, oh shit, a Sol Ring, person's going off. Maybe they're arch enemy now. Maybe they just start not drawing any lands, who knows, but it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Let me know in the comments, do you think Sol Ring should be banned, or are you okay with it not being banned? Yes or no? Sol Ring banned, Sol Ring unbanned, or Sol Ring stays legal, or Sol Ring banned? What do you think? I'm curious to see everybody's opinions. And Nadu is Nadu. It was gonna get banned, obviously. There's no real... We all know. It was a mistake, so that's gone. Don't need to talk about that anymore. Now, there's a part at the end of the article, what's coming up? Hopefully quieter updates. We talked in the last update about providing players with better ways to communicate about silver bordered cards in their deck. That project is going well, but isn't quite ready for release, so we're holding off announcing it here. We expect it to be out by the next announcement at the latest. We're working with the folks at Wizards to provide some new tools to use in pre-game conversations to help folks find like-minded players, and are pretty excited about some of the possibilities there. No promises on a timeline yet, though. Whatever happens, we'll be back with our next update on November 18th after Magic the Gathering Foundation's pre-release. In the meantime, tune into the charity stream and keep on brewing. Okay, that is the update, more or less. Okay, so obviously, like I said before, the bans don't really affect me that much. I didn't really have any decks with the cards anyway, but this Rule 0 silver border thing sounds really interesting, and it shows how much out of the loop I am, because this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So that's going to be really exciting, because holy shit, I feel like every time I sit down for a Commander game, Rule 0 is barely talked about. And granted, that's on me as well, because most of the time, I've got a new brew. I'm like, oh, I need to make sure I'm playing this right. I got to remember all the cards in my head. I got to make sure that, like, this does this and that does that, and I got to do this on turn that and such. So I'm, like, really nervous, like, okay, don't make yourself look like an idiot who doesn't know how to play this fucking game. And then I just sort of go, oh, I'm there. And, like, sometimes people don't even say what commanders they're playing in the games that I'm in. And that's insane. So it's really, I want more Rule 0, is what I'm saying. I feel like every time I sit down, I'm having, if I do remember to actually engage in Rule 0, I have to pull teeth to be like, what's your commander? Tell me what's in your deck. I need to know, because if I play my, this is an example, but I went into this knowing this is a bad example, but like, let's say I'm playing against somebody who's like, I want to mill all my cards and then use stuff for my graveyard. And then I go, okay, I'm going to play my mill deck. And it's just going to make everybody mill a bunch of cards and just give you all sorts of fuel for the fire. And you're going to win. That was a scenario that did happen. And I walked into it willingly. I knew that information ahead of time, but I just wanted to play my mill deck. And sure enough, I ended up losing. But in the scenario where I don't know that about the person's deck, that is really bad. So Rule 0, good. I want that. Whatever system comes in, let's do it. I'm excited for that. So, whew, crazy news drop. Stuff's gotten banned. I'm just here for it. I don't want to, I don't know. Maybe I'm speculating too much about what's going to happen in CDH, but I'm so curious about how these changes are going to affect not even just CDH, just EDH in general, like the whole format. It's crazy. This is crazy. What is going on? I'm excited. That's my main takeaway. I am excited. All of this feels like, at the very least, interesting news, maybe even great news. So the format's changing, things are getting shaken up. I want to see how this goes, and I think that's the whole video. Like and subscribe if you want to. If you dislike, that's fine too. Any metrics you can give me, I want to know how I'm doing with this content. I'm trying to make more things, so any feedback is good. I hope everybody likes the video. Play Magic. Be excited about changes and things. Let me know if you think Sol Ring should be banned. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Have a great day, regardless of any